The afternoon heat shimmered above the parking lot like a wavering veil. Cars crawled in and out of the shopping plaza. People rushed past with grocery bags and coffee cups. And nobody paid much attention to the faded blue handicap spaces near the bank ATM. Nobody except Daniel Games. Daniel sat in his old sedan, gripping the steering wheel tighter than he realized. He had spent years watching people abuse handicap parking spots while his uncle, who had lost a leg in a construction accident, sometimes circled entire lots looking for a place to park. It bothered him more than it bothered most people, maybe too much. As he turned into the plaza that afternoon, he noticed a silver SUV slide directly into a handicap space. No placard. No handicap plate. A woman sat in the driver's seat. A teenage boy was in the back. Then a tall man jumped out and headed for the ATM. Daniel muttered under his breath, "Unbelievable." He parked nearby and watched the man casually walk toward the machine like nothing was wrong. That was the moment Daniel could have driven away. Instead, he got out. The man at the ATM was broad-shouldered and athletic-looking, wearing sunglasses and a polo shirt. Daniel approached him from behind. "Excuse me," Daniel said sharply. The man turned around. "Yeah, are you handicapped?" The man frowned immediately, annoyed by the tone. No, the answer irritated Daniel even more. "So you think it's okay to park there?" The man shrugged with obvious impatience. "I don't know. Ask my wife." Wrong answer. Daniel walked around the SUV toward the driver's side window. The woman inside was turned halfway toward the back seat talking to her son. The window was rolled completely up. Daniel knocked once. No response. He knocked harder. Still nothing. Now several people nearby had begun glancing over. Daniel leaned down closer to the glass. "Your husband wants me to ask you something." The woman finally turned, startled. She cracked the window open only a couple inches. "What? Are you handicapped?" "No." She immediately started rolling the window back up. That should have been the end of it. But Daniel's temper got there first. "I think it's disgusting that you people park there." The woman's eyes widened. Then Daniel added a curse word that changed everything. Inside the SUV, the teenage son stiffened instantly. Back at the ATM, the husband heard the shouting and turned around. His face hardened the second he saw a stranger leaning aggressively toward his wife's window. He strode toward them fast. "Hey," he barked. "Don't talk to my wife like that." Daniel spun around. "What are you gonna do about it?" That single sentence lit the fuse. The husband closed the distance immediately. Daniel threw his hands up defensively. But within seconds both men were shoving, grabbing, and swinging wildly in the middle of the parking lot. The first punch landed hard, then another. A woman screamed. Someone yelled, "Break it up!" But neither man stopped. They crashed against the side of a parked car, wrestling for balance. The husband was bigger and stronger, but Daniel fought recklessly. Fueled by anger and adrenaline, fists flew. Blood appeared almost immediately from split lips and scraped cheeks. Customers coming out of nearby stores froze in shock. One man pulled out his phone and began recording. The fight spilled across the pavement. The husband managed to tackle Daniel to the ground, pinning him underneath with his weight. Daniel struggled furiously, trapped beneath him. That should have ended it. Instead, the wife jumped out of the SUV, so did the son. The teenager's face was red with rage. He saw only one thing. A man who had cursed at his mother and now appeared to be fighting his father. He charged forward. "Hit him!" Someone screamed. The son kicked Daniel hard in the ribs. Then again, Daniel curled inward, trying to protect his face while pinned beneath the father's body. The mother rushed in too, swinging her keys downward like claws. She struck Daniel across the forehead and cheek while shouting hysterically. Daniel panicked. He couldn't breathe properly under the man's weight. He covered his head, twisting desperately, feeling shoes and fists coming from multiple directions. Then instinct took over. Daniel reached upward blindly and grabbed the father in the groin with both hands. The man screamed and lurched backward immediately, releasing pressure for just a second. Daniel exploded upward. Now bloodied and terrified, he looked wildly around him. The mother moved toward him again, shouting. Daniel swung. His fist connected squarely with her jaw. She collapsed onto the pavement. Gasps erupted from nearby witnesses. The son screamed and lunged again. The father tackled Daniel a second time, slamming him back onto the ground. Again the son began kicking him. Again the mother joined in, furious now beyond reason. A woman across the parking lot shouted, "Stop, stop!" Another person yelled, "Call the police!" The man filming continued recording everything. On the video, the mother's voice rang out clearly, "Kick him, Dimitri!" The son obeyed immediately. One kick struck Daniel's side. Another glanced off his head. Then the mother shouted something else that stunned nearby witnesses. "He tried to rape me." People stopped in confusion. "What? He tried to rape me," she screamed again. Even the bystanders looked uncertain now. The entire scene had descended into chaos. Sirens arrived minutes later. Police officers rushed into the parking lot, ordering everyone apart at gunpoint. Daniel was bleeding heavily from the face and arms. The father had bruises and torn clothing. The mother held her jaw dramatically while the son paced in circles, breathing hard. Initially, officers handcuffed Daniel. He had admitted punching the woman. But then witnesses began speaking. One by one, neutral bystanders described what they saw. He was yelling, "Yeah!" But the husband threw the first punch. The kid was kicking him while he was down. The woman hit him with keys. Then the officers watched the cell phone video. Everything changed. The handcuffs came off Daniel. The officers separated everyone and took statements late into the evening. Months later, all four of them found themselves standing inside the courtroom of Judge Judy. The atmosphere inside was tense before the case even began. Daniel sat at the plaintiff's table with visible scars still faintly marked near his eyebrow. Across from him sat the DuPont family together, arms crossed, defensive and angry. Judge Judy entered briskly, took one glance at the file, and immediately sensed trouble. "Why don't you have a seat?" the hearing began. Daniel explained the handicap parking situation first. He admitted he approached them. He admitted he cursed. He even admitted, reluctantly, that confronting strangers probably wasn't smart. Judge Judy nodded sharply. "So you became rude." "Correct." But when story turned to the actual fight, the tone shifted. Daniel described being pinned down while all three attacked him. The son looked irritated listening to it. The father shook his head constantly. The mother looked offended by nearly every sentence. Then came the video. The courtroom fell silent as the footage played. The grainy cell phone recording showed the fight exactly as witnesses described. Daniel was clearly trapped on the ground while the son kicked him repeatedly. The mother leaned in, striking downward with her keys. Then her voice came through the speakers. "Kick him, Dimitri." Judge Judy's expression hardened immediately. After the video ended, She leaned back slowly. I saw enough. The defendants tried arguing self-defense. They insisted Daniel had threatened them first. The mother even claimed he threatened to kill her. Judge Judy flipped through the police report. That's interesting, she said coolly, because somehow that wasn't mentioned anywhere at the scene. The father attempted to insist Daniel charged him first. Judge Judy interrupted instantly. None of the witnesses support your story. Silence. Then she turned toward the son. You kicked him twice while he was immobilized. The teenager shrugged awkwardly. He hit my mom. Judge Judy stared at him, like an idiot, like a fool. The room went quiet. She then turned toward the mother. And you, the school teacher, came over hitting him with your keys while he was already on the ground. The mother lowered her eyes. Judge Judy finally addressed Daniel again. You are not blameless here. You escalated this situation when you approached strangers aggressively. You could have minded your own business. Daniel nodded silently. But, she continued, pointing toward the defendants, their reaction went too far. The courtroom seemed to exhale all at once. Judge Judy delivered her ruling firmly. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Counterclaim dismissed. Her gavel struck once, case over. But long after the cameras shut off and everyone left the courthouse, the lesson remained painfully obvious. A few angry words in a parking lot had turned ordinary people into something ugly, and none of them walked away innocent.